you're just not yourself. You have no control over your body because your body is not working the way you want it to work. And it really affected me. It took a toll on my mental health. It took a toll on my mental health, my physical health as well. You know, there was days when my mom would come in my room and she'd say I look sick because I lost so much weight. I lost so much weight. What's going on, y'all? My name is Michael Commey, and welcome to the first episode of Commey Talk. I'm so excited to be starting this new content on my channel. I've always actually wanted to give out content like this, but I feel like I never had the right type of energy, you know what I'm saying, to just give out the content that I wanted to give out. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my autoimmune disease, something that I live with every single day, and I've been living with for the past, 2 years now? I think it's been about 2 years. And I'm really just gonna break down what it is, what is pernicious anemia before the autoimmune disease, like how I was before the autoimmune disease, my symptoms and how it affected me, what helped me in treatment, injections, and just basically giving anybody that's dealing with pernicious anemia or wants to just have more information about pernicious anemia. Before I even start, like, you're probably wondering, what is pernicious anemia? So that I'm correct and I give you the right exact definition, I'm gonna go ahead and read it for you. Pernicious anemia is defined as a type of vitamin B12 deficiency that results from impaired uptake in vitamin B12 due to the lack of a substance known as intrinsic factor produced by the stomach lining. Pernicious anemia is a condition caused by too little vitamin B12 in the body and its form of vitamin B12 deficiencies. So basically, it's a form of anemia. Vitamin B12 helps the body make healthy red blood cells. It helps keep nerve cells healthy. It is found in animal foods, including meat, fish, eggs, milk, and other dairy products. The most common cause of pernicious anemia is the loss of stomach cells that make intrinsic factor. Most common cause of pernicious anemia is the loss of stomach cells that make intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor helps the body absorb vitamin B12 in the intestine. This loss of cells may be due to destruction by the body's own immune system. Pernicious anemia can cause permanent damage to the nerves and other organs if it goes for too long without being treated, and it also raises a risk for developing stomach cancer. You're probably hearing this and you're like, wow, that's crazy, and it really is crazy. It's something that you never, me personally, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Honestly, I wouldn't wish any type of sickness on my worst enemy. Before the autoimmune disease, this was probably about, so I kind of started getting symptoms around 2017. Before the autoimmune disease, I was pretty healthy. I ate whatever I want. I worked out religiously. I was in the gym every day. I can do everything that I wanted to do throughout the day with no problems. I never even thought about any type of sickness. I never really got sick, and I was just going and I was just going and I was just living life, eating whatever I want. I would probably say that I was a pretty happy kid. I really didn't have no worry, any depression, any anxiety. I was just a pretty happy kid. I played basketball. I played basketball at my high school. I played basketball 1 year at my college. I never really had any problems. It wasn't until end of 2017, I want to say like maybe September, November, that I started experiencing some type of symptoms. I started getting stomach issues, bad stomach issues, and it would all appear right here. I really couldn't explain why I was getting these issues, but I didn't want to say anything, because the thing about me is, like, I don't really, because usually stuff goes away, so I don't really like speak on anything that I'm feeling or any pain that I'm having, because in the next 2 days it's gone. But this was just, it kept lingering and it kept lingering and it kept lingering. So stomach issue turned into the skin issues. Like, I started getting acne on my face, like on my back, on my arms, and I never really got bad acne. I had bad acne like before high school, but after that, like, I never really had acne. So that's when I was like, okay, something is wrong. Like, my skin is breaking out, my stomach is hurting. And then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I started experiencing nerve issue. I started experiencing a little bit of hair loss. I started experiencing headaches, migraines. I was completely and utterly fatigued throughout the day. Like, I would wake up and you would think that, like, I've been working all day, like in my sleep or something. Like, I was just tired every day. I couldn't even go to school. There was times where I was in class and I was just in so much pain. It frustrated me so bad, I just walked out, you know? really couldn't understand why this was happening to me and what it was at the time. And I started experiencing coldness. Like my hands and my feet were always cold 24/7. It could be 95 degrees outside and I was cold, and I couldn't explain why I was cold, but I was just cold. I started to realize that I wasn't talking like I usually talk. Like I was stuttering a lot, and my speech was a little it was a little off. I feel like my confidence was low. And then I experienced something that I've never experienced before, and it was depression. Because I just felt like you have this kid that used to play basketball, that used to, go out, that used to eat whatever he wants. He used to be in the gym and work out. He had muscles. And then you go from that to, you don't know what's wrong with you. You can barely get out of bed. All of a sudden you're moody. You're having like mood swings, and you're just not yourself. You have no control over your body because your body is not working the way you want it to work. And it really affected me. It took a toll on my mental health. It took a toll on my mental health, my physical health as well. There was days when my mom would come in my room and she'd say I look sick because I lost so much weight. I think the lowest weight that I was at was 130, and I just couldn't explain it. I started getting that. I couldn't sleep at night. I was having insomnia. My body would be tingling when I take showers, but it was an uncomfortable tingle. My stomach would be twitching. I couldn't hold down any type of food. The only food that I could eat was like vegetables and quinoa. If I ate rice, my stomach would be upset and I wouldn't hold it down. If I ate potatoes, same thing. I couldn't eat anything. So that was kind of the symptoms that I was experiencing. And at this point, I had no clue. I had no clue what was really going on with my body. A little time went by, and I just told myself, like, this can't be it. Like, I can't just continue to live with this. I wasn't myself. I was losing touch with myself. So I started to become a research head. And what I mean by that is, like, I was looking up everything you can look up on pernicious anemia. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. At first, I didn't even know it was pernicious anemia. I was self-diagnosing myself with anything I could find. And so I would self-diagnose myself, and then I would treat that diagnosis that I gave myself, and nothing was working. You know what I'm saying? So nothing was working. I went ahead and just started doing more research, and I came across B12 deficiency, and I matched all my symptoms, and I was like, okay, this has to be it. You understand what I'm saying? At this point, I've been to every single doctor. I've been in and out. I went to a neurologist. I went to endocrinologist. I've done endoscopies. I've in and out of the hospital, and no one could give me answers. Nobody could give me any type of answers. We were told it was all kinds of things, but I just knew in my heart that it wasn't, and it's probably by the grace of God. So at this point, I come across B12, and I just go to my doctor, and I just ask her, Doc, did you test my B12? And she said that she didn't, and that she usually does with all her patients, but it kind of slipped her mind. And in that point, I was kind of upset, but at this point, I was just so tired because I've been dealing with this for about a year now with no answers. And I was just so tired. I was just like, Doc, can you please test it? And it came back as positive to lack of intrinsic factor. So that means I have an autoimmune disease, and it's called pernicious anemia. What had helped me was all these Facebook pages. So if you go on Facebook and you type in pernicious anemia, there's all these help Facebook pages that people actually that have the same issue as me that they go on, and I'll leave a link in the description below, and I'll probably put it on the screen right here. I went on there and I added myself, and they let me in the group, and it's just a whole bunch of people with pernicious anemia that's talking about it. Because if you don't know, a lot of doctors are not familiar with this issue. And even if they are familiar with it, they don't understand that everybody's body is different. One person might need an injection a month. One person might need an injection every week. And doctors don't understand that. They don't understand like that everybody's built differently. So I was just tired of hearing doctors and doctors this, doctors that, and nothing was helping me, and it wasn't helping me. So I went to these pages on Facebook, and I came across these two women that helped me so much that if they didn't help me, I probably would not have the information that I have today. But they basically just started to tell me certain type of vitamins for me to take, that will help my B12 work better in my body. They told me about certain issues that I was having, certain symptoms that you get when you start injecting. And they basically just walked me through everything that I need to know about pernicious anemia and about the healing process itself. As of right now, there's no cure for pernicious anemia. Once you have pernicious anemia, you have it for the rest of your life. What you do though, you can maintain it and get your body back to what it was, but you have to take injections. So I take these injections probably about, right now I take them every 3 days. But when I first started, I was taking them every day, and I was just loading my body up because my body was so deficient in it. It was just such a painful thing because it really took a toll on me. Like, you would think like once you start injecting, you feel better, but that's not the case. And I'm gonna put that in a separate video. All these Facebook pages helped me. And I say that to say this is like, always get a second opinion and always do your research, because a lot of these doctors want to prescribe you Western medicine and they just want to prescribe you pharmaceuticals and all this crazy stuff, all these pills that give you 10,000 other side effects when you might not even need that. Honestly, you need to do your research. If you're dealing with a certain issue, or you have pernicious anemia, or you think you have an autoimmune disease, do your research first. Obviously, go to the doctor, listen, but listen to your body. And that's what I do. I listen to my body. I listen to what it needs, what it wants. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a little tired, I might inject. If I work out the day before, I inject the next day. I just listen to my body. A lot of these doctors, man, they're just so quick to write you a script, a prescription script, and go about your day. But that prescription is giving you 10, 15 other side effects, and it's messing you up. And you might not need to do that. You might need to go the natural route. It might take longer, but isn't that better than dealing with having a prescription that is affecting another part of your body while it's trying to cope and deal with the actual problem? Because if you think about it, it doesn't get to the root problem. It doesn't. What these medicines that they're giving you, it basically just it keeps it at like it keeps it so that you can function, but it doesn't get to the root problem, and it gives you 1,000 other side effects. So what I did was research, and I began to inject. The healing process is a very long process, and it's a process that is actually, I would almost say it's worse because what the healing process does is when you start injecting, it's kind of like it gets worse before it gets better. You understand what I'm saying? It's like you're going through all your symptoms all over again, but that means that your injections are working, and that's a good thing. This is something that you have to be patient with, and you kind of have to just keep going. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. It will get better. It does get better, and that's one thing I do want to tell you is that it does get better little by little, but it is very slow. The healing process is very slow, and I will talk about the healing process in a separate video, but I just wanted to give you a little bit about pernicious anemia, a little bit about my story and what I've dealt with pernicious anemia, and I'm still dealing with it to this day. It's definitely something that you have to be mentally tough. If you're not mentally tough, you need to build that up when you're dealing with an issue like this, because it's something that you got to keep at it. You know what I'm saying? Your diet goes into it, your lifestyle goes into it, stress goes into it, and you just have to make sure you're injecting. I think that's it for this first video of Commey Talk. I'm so excited to have this type of content coming out because I've always wanted to do content like this, but I just felt like it wasn't the right time. But by the grace of God, I've been put in the right position, in the right situation to be able to give you guys content like this, man. So, and I will be breaking down, if you want to get another part, I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff on pernicious anemia, and not just pernicious anemia, but a lot of other stuff. But pernicious anemia is definitely going to be talked about on this channel, because I know people, I made a video before and it's not on my channel anymore, but people have reached out to me, they've emailed me, they've DM'd me about pernicious anemia. So if I could just help anybody, man, I feel like I'm doing what I need to do. Because when I first started, I searched everywhere to find somebody talking about pernicious anemia and in depth about it. I searched up and down, left and right to figure out what I can do, how I can get from not being able to get out of bed, not being able to do anything, not being able to walk, being tired all the time to how I am now. And I thank God every day that and honestly, I give God all the glory, because he's got me from point A to point B. He's got me from that situation to this situation, you know what I'm saying? And I give God all the glory. But you also have to do your part. You also have to take care of yourself and take care of your mind and your body. If you want to see more videos like this, man, if I helped you, if you want to contact me, my Instagram is down below. Go ahead and send me a DM or reach out to me, man. I would love to talk to you guys about pernicious anemia. And yeah, man, I really appreciate you guys. Before the video ends, please like the video, man. We do need those likes. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.